Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Thursday, April the 14th, 2016. My name is Doug McKay. I'm founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we come together to get together each morning to take a look at this market, macro to micro, the structure of market. Then we drill down and look at our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. This is a subscription room, so if you want to come in and check it out, I will put up my contact information. But before I do that, please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own trade metrics. The contact information is quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website. There's no blog. It's not a commercial venture. We get together in these live go-tos each morning and then doing live trading during the course of the day. Yesterday, we had that big move up in the Globex, and we were opening with a big gap up. We opened up in around the 70 or 2065.75. Our main hypothesis was a move back down towards the 63.6150, or the high of the prior day at 58.50, and then to rotate up through into the 71 area. That was hypo 1. Hypo 2 was to come up into this, the 71-72 area and then sell off and roll down and go into that 47.51 area. And then the alternative hypothesis was we were just going to chop around inside the gap. And we kind of had a mixture of hypos, and but ultimately we basically chopped in the gap, and then we had a little bit of a continuation into the end of the day. Then Neil was asking at the end of the day whether or not what I thought would happen in the Globex, and my response was, if we get the VPOC shift up from 68 up into the 75.50 area, then we'd get continuation overnight. But I said if the VPOC doesn't shift, then overnight I would expect them to come down and test the 69.75, 68.50 area, and then bounce from there, find buyers and bounce from there. And that's exactly what has happened overnight. We basically, let me just get this out of the way. We came down, we opened up, chopped around, and then we started slowly bleeding off, came back up, failed, and then came down and hit that 68.50 to the tick, and then found buyers and rotated it back up into that 75.50 area where we closed on this high volume node HVN here. And then news this morning came out, and they popped us and put in a new overnight high, and we're currently trading at 78.50. So we're going to be opening up just, well, we still have a lot of time. We're going to open up somewhere just above or just inside of range this morning. We've got the VPOC at 75.50 at our HVN. I would expect us to come down and test the 75.50 this morning, but buying is very strong right now. Taking a look at the big picture, we're inside of this upper distribution of the microcomposite that ran from October the 7th through to the end of the year, where we fell out of this balance in the beginning of January. We've worked our way back in. We're now up here. We have a big gap up day yesterday. We're going to be opening up at the upper distribution. This is actually doesn't need to be, whoops, this doesn't need to be there anymore. We're going to be opening up near the high of the gap up day. we have to take a look at what's happened in this area. The swing high up here is at 86.25, and our 86.50 is the value area high of the prior microcomposite that we're inside of. It's also a former microcomposite VPOC here. So, that's our next big target to the upside. I'm expecting a move today to come back into the 75 area, possibly find buyers and continue higher, or a move back towards the midpoint and back towards the 69 and chop around today. Key line in the sand below us is going to be changed to 63.50 now. If we get below 63.50, I'm expecting a move back to 61 and down into that 57, 56 area to fill in this gap. So if we take a look at the numbers for overnight, our overnight low is 68.50. Right on our VPOC. Our 20-day ATR target right now, off the bottom, 2068.50. Our 20-day ATR is running at 2263, and that gives us a ATR upside target of 2091.25. And so far, and again, this can change, off of our overnight high at 2079.50, takes our daily ATR downside target to 2057. So two key numbers that I've already mentioned are within that range. Okay, and then I'll put in the overnight high for the time being, but it's likely going to be taken out. 79.50. And then we have LVN here at 78 and 77 and 76.75. I'm going to use the 77 and 76.75. They're likely to come in and start filling this in here. Our overnight VPOC is not going to shift at 75.50. And there's really not much more information that I can get from the overnight session. So expand this out here. I just want to quickly go to 1201, 1201. This was 1203. So just looking at the template days, here's our template day from December the 2nd. We had a triple distribution. Where did we open up? We opened up at 83, so we actually opened up higher. But we had a LVN at 80.25. So this is going to be a trade area. We had a HVN at 83.25. That's going to be a target. That day high was the key, is the key line in the sand. and then we had this 78 value area high was 79, and then the midpoint 74 and 72, and then we ended up closing on the lower distribution down at the 61.75. Remember, 61.50 is the most traded price. So use this day as a template. There's very little volume here in the 74 down to the 68. So if we don't hold above the range from yesterday, I would expect to come down here and chop around in here and come back into the 61.50. If we can hold above, even dip back into the 72 and then come back out and hold above the 77, then I would expect us to come up into here. So just, take a picture of this page and use it as your template. All right, so we've got 77, we've got 75, and then we've got the 73. So I'm going to use the 73 as a trade area. Below that, I'll be targeting the 70.50, and then the 68.50 VPOC and overnight low, and then just below that we've got the value area, and then below 66.50, then I would expect us to target down here to the 63.25 naked VPOC and the 61.50 composite VPOC, and then we got the naked close there. So this could be a bit of a pullback day, but this market is very strong right now, so the risk is all to the upside. Below there, we've got 58.25. I'm going to use 58.50 because that was the range high from Tuesday, and then our daily ATR target and the 56 and 55 area, and then 52 and 50 and 46. I don't anticipate a big move to the downside. To the upside, we've got the 80.25, the 83.25, the key line in the sand, the 89.25 daily ATR target at 91.23, 93.25, and then of course our weekly ATR is still all the way up at 2100. So again, my main hypothesis is to come back down into this area, close out the gap, test the 63. This would be where one of the areas I would look for responsive buying, and then a move back up through in continuation up into testing the key line in the sand up in the 86.50. If we get below the 73, I would expect them to come down and pop down into between the 71 and 68 area. Anything below 66.50, move down back into the 61. So this is actually going to be a key line in the sand for us this morning. I don't want that. I want this. All right, so main hypothesis, come down somewhere between the 75 and 73, possibly even the 71, but to find buyers and rotate up and go and hit that target up at 86.50. My secondary hypothesis is we hold the range, or we dip into the range and then chop around, move up, come back, test this overnight high, and then blast off into 86 and 89 and 91 area. And then the third hypothesis is to move up, chop around against the key line in the sand, and then fail and start working our way back down towards the 61 and 57 area. So that's what I'm looking at. Our Keltner right now, we're at the upper Keltner. We've got a possible double Renko reversal or a possible Keltner line walk, depending on what happens on this Renko bar here. So if it closes above the Keltner, look for a walk up to that new overnight high, or take out the overnight high and the 80 1/4. Double Renko reversal should bring us back into the 74 or 75 area and the Keltner center line, and then a break below the Keltner center line takes us back to that naked VPOC and the overnight low. That's going to be it for this morning, gang. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we will catch you on the flip side.